It's another Sunday night, which means it's another evening of the Staches and Glasses Podcast. I'm your host, Erik Fontanez, back with Jay Watts, Justin Waters. What's up, Jay? How you doing, man?
What's up? Happy Sunday. Call
It
me
is
now.
another happy Sunday.
It is.
Some good news. My my New York Giants have not played football yet, so my weekend is not totally ruined.
Well, we're playing Steelers tomorrow, buddy.
Yeah.
Family team, grandpa.
Yeah. Okay. Well, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
May the best team win. We already know which team is the best based off of their performances. It's the one without Daniel Jones.
Well,
what is this bubble that popped up on your screen just now? It looked like a thumbs up bubble on iPhone.
Yeah, how did we get that? Is it?
I don't know. I have no idea. And here's the thing. Ever since I moved, technology has been testing me to the point of like, is this thing even recording anymore? Last week we had the YouTube video issue where we couldn't do anything. I've made some adjustments using a whole new computer, in fact, to record this podcast. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're not going to have the same issues we did last week. Issues that, sometimes you don't see coming, and other times you're like, okay, I should have known better about that. I can honestly say, Scout's honor, did not anticipate so many technical issues last week. So hopefully this week we do better. Gosh, it's been a pretty good first week in the NBA. I'm not gonna lie. You know how excited I was about the Knicks. Yeah. They totally got mollywopped by Boston, which, to be fair, everybody's getting mollywopped by Boston. That team's really good. Your Lakers are 3-0, undefeated.
Call me now.
Call me now. I was trying to figure. You know what's funny? You texted me that. Call me now, and I was confused. I was like, does he want me to call him now, or
no?
I didn't know what you were talking about. Funny. I was like, I kind of took it as like, that's just a Justin thing that he's saying. So I didn't actually pick up the phone to call you, luckily. But I'm sure if I did, you would have been like, yeah, what's up, E?
Taking calls. It was, just based off the Lakers, my feeling, and my feeling about Denver and them going backwards last week. But my Lakers, we had a game where we shot 5 of 28. And still won the game against, I think it was Minnesota. Pretty much double digits. The last minute was kind of a whatever. But it's encouraging to see us getting second chance points, to see the offense moving, to see, clips during the week and practice and JJ getting involved. And the dudes just look like they've bought in. It's like a different feeling. I mean, you could tell when guys, pardon my French, like fuck with their coach. And they do. Like, they seem to be bought in, and they're not just playing, trash teams or, teams that are young and blah, blah. They're playing legit teams. They beat the Suns. They beat Minnesota. They beat the Kings. So they're looking good right now. I feel like, they're not going to go 82-0, but the fact that we've came out the gate against 3, playoff teams, who have been all pretty much ranked higher than above us from everybody else on the, the typical show. So it feels good to see that the other side of this whole, you got a young coach and he's inexperienced and all this, negative shit. And then you turn around and see like, it's actually like, hey, dude knows what he's doing. I don't know if you saw, but Baron Davis had a tweet, and this is just so LA. He's like, I was at the gas station and ran into JJ. And he's like, I told him he's going to be good. He was watching film while he was pumping gas.
I saw that.
He's like, you guys are going to be fine. I was like, dude, it's true. Game recognized game. So I'm not going to brag. I'm going to stay cool, cucumber guy, until we start stacking dubs, and then the shit talking's coming, especially from all these NBA talking heads.
Cucumber guy. Okay, buddy. By the way, since when have we had to pardon our French on this podcast?
Oh, we haven't.
We haven't. It's really unnecessary. If you feel the need, If you feel the need to make this a PG rated show, then I'm all for it.
No. Just wanted to.
Do our kids even listen to us on our pod? Like, they don't listen to us in real life. Who says they're going to listen to our podcast?
This is true. My
all
child,
right.
no.
Yeah. As the father of a teenager, I can say that these times they are attesting, much like the technical stuff from last week. But anyway, bigger surprise. The Lakers being 3-0 or Denver, the Nuggets, who are a little over a year removed from an NBA title, are 0-2.
Well, that I mean, it's a little quick, but that championship window, somebody slammed the shit out of it and got Jokic's fingers stuck in there. He can't write his horse picks down. But I'm not as surprised. Like, I mean, I thought that they were gonna regress. You lose KCP, that's huge. He did a lot of the unsung hero kind of stuff, big time knockdown, big shots, plays defense. So, and the other guys are just not, they're just not stepping up. They're just not as ready. This is what I felt. So I'm not too surprised on those two. Call me now. And my OKC. I mean, everybody could see them, but those dudes look like they're on another level as well. That's the team that has virtually everything except experience. They have a little playoff experience, but that deep playoff experience they don't have yet. But they have everything else. They have depth. They have youth. They got dudes who can hoop. So. I think though that Denver will. I don't think they're going to completely just fall off into oblivion. I don't see that happening, but I don't see them necessarily in that top half of the Western Conference, or at least the top 5 in the Western Conference. I don't think they're going to be.
I was about to say,
not the whole like top 5 slot. They're going to be between 6 and 10. More likely than I think 1 through 5 as overall records concerned.
Okay. I'd be willing to bet on that. Like in the opposite position, I still think they're going to be top 5. Because we've got Minnesota, we got OKC. I know the Lakers are 3-0, but I can't imagine that that's going to last all season.
Oh, dude.
Listen, man, they've gone on runs before in the past 3-4 years during the season, and where is it ended up?
They've never started, but they don't start this well. And we're new. It's just this isn't Darvin Ham hands in my pocket meme guy. No, dudes weren't responding. I mean, you could see. If it's like 95%.
It seems that players are buying into JJ Redick. They're buying into the philosophy of the Redick.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
they're redicking themselves.
Well, that's just a coach's name. What's he gonna do? He didn't pick his name. He was born into it.
Of course he didn't.
But still, it's a difference. It's a difference. When you're when you know that you're a professional and your coach is,
a professional redick. It's always good when a team gets a good redicking.
Sometimes they need one. Bobbitt needed a redick, remember?
What?
So and that was for the better for him. You know what he went into after the
Lorena Bobbitt reference from left field.
He went to porn too, so the guy, he definitely redicked. But dude, call it what you want, pal. Right now, we're sitting on top of the standings, and I like the view. We're not falling too far off this mountain. We're definitely not jumping, fucking doing a belly flop off the top. That's not happening.
You sound like your Lakers take. I mean, you've had some really hot Lakers takes.
I'm just basking in the glow.
At 3-0, in an 82 game season, sounds like you are taking the belly flop off the First Interstate building.
I'm going to explain how.
Okay,
and it's because they're quality teams. We're not playing, some Hoboken, third string teams. We're playing teams that are supposed to be in the talk rah rah. In the maybe not the Kings in the talk. They're in the playoff talk. They're not in the top 5 talk. But the Suns have been
Yeah.
getting, they've been getting, gassed up. So obviously Minnesota, they deserve that. But to come out and you know they're playing well against good teams so far. So for me, it's like, hey, yeah, obviously you still got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And if they're going to play how they're playing now, I'm not gloating too much, just a little suntan.
Could we at all be overreacting? At all?
We could, but if we played again,
shit
teams, no. If they were shit teams, then I would be definitely overreacting. But we played quality teams, so it's kind of like, hey, maybe he's right. Come now.
First of all, start
betting?
Is this your new thing? Is the call me now thing your new thing? Is that the Miss Cleo?
I think it's gonna be when I predict something right, or I foreshadow a little bit, and it starts to come to fruition, and it's gonna be my go-to tag.
That's like your Charles Barkley guarantee.
Yeah, it's gonna be the call me now. When I especially if I really nail something. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm gonna beat this shit. Damn.
Call me now.
I'm gonna get a little graphic of her and put my little mug in the middle of
it. have her crystal ball be just a basketball.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
See, I got all the great ideas. So here's a thing that maybe you should be concerned about. Or a couple of things. One, beginning of the season, teams are just starting to get into the swing of things. 2, the Lakers are going to go on a 5-game road trip, stopping in Phoenix first, then Cleveland, who's also 3-0, then going across the border to Toronto, then to Detroit, which they should win. Everybody should win against Detroit, and then Memphis.
Yeah, that's going to be 2 of those. Yeah, Memphis is going to be tough. Suns are going to be tough at home, and so is Cleveland. Toronto and Detroit, we should definitely win. But yeah, I mean, the West is Memphis is in the West too still. So there's the West is going to be tough. It's not going to be a cakewalk. We're not going to have, we're not just going to be stomping everybody out. But I just like so far the view of, hey, we got out the gates. We haven't won an opening game. It was like 8 years or even longer. These dudes always come out.
I think it was 2016 was the last time they won on opening night.
Dude, they always come out the blocks like we're Deputy Doofy sometimes. So I'm glad now that, oh shit, we got our Usain Bolt kicks on now. We're not Bolt yet through the whole race. We're just in the starting blocks. We looking like a Usain. We haven't taken off yet, but so far I like the stance. I like the stance out there, boys. Great stance.
Yeah, and then. Again, just to touch on Denver real quick, Jokic had 41 points against the Clippers the other day.
He's gonna need to do that.
He's still looking prime form. Yeah, if this kind of crap keeps up, like Jokic is going to have to be the end all be all for Denver, whereas 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, that wasn't the case. That team was running on all cylinders and looked really smooth. And maybe you're right. Maybe KCP is the deciding factor in that kind of thing. Maybe he provided them some sort of energy that team really needed.
And Bruce Brown. They had both of them at one point. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that when they won the chip? And then they just it's crazy to see a championship team, like not just Denver, but in general, how they're built. But then once they hit the top, it's like the smart guys keep the core or double down or add another piece that's, looked at as an upgrade. But more times than not, too, you just see, and I guess that's the nature of the beast, right? Like guy like Bruce Brown had to go get paid. So after that nice run and that showcasing, he went and got paid by the Pacers. They broke him off. So it's crazy. It's like it's always a crapshoot. Like, do we're never going to foretell or see what guy hasn't got that check and it's like, dude, I need to get this check. This is the time to strike when the iron's hot. And looks like Denver's been a part of the wrong side of that.
Yeah. So bigger surprise, Lakers being undefeated 3-0 or Denver not even picking up a win in their first 2 games.
Probably the Lakers being undefeated. You know, the 3-0. I would at least think maybe 2-1 or come out, but we've came out 3-0. Wasn't on the bingo set. My Homer side was on the bingo set. Like, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're good to go. But like I even said, like last week, like you put your money on Mini, just from previous experience and last year, right? You know, but getting to see most. I mean, we're not fully healthy, but Gabe Vincent's big. Him being healthy helps, and I think that Rui is gonna hit another step. I think he was averaging last year.
Rui's looking good early.
Rui, yeah, and he's big.
Yeah,
dude is a big dude, and and I think that's the thing where I like that JJ's been doing is first we've been running our offense through AD, which dudes came out scoring 30 every game, dominate like both ends. He's been looking nice, and I think that that's the one I like that JJ's. I think he's going to highlight like Rui Hachimura's game. He's going to empower D'Lo. Because D'Lo is kind of one of those players where you're like, as a coach, I think you're not coddling his confidence, but you're making sure he knows that you're spotting it, you know, like I got your back. I'm never, you know, you don't want to question D'Lo, or I don't think you could play the Sergeant Hardass route with him as a coach, you know. I think you got to be like, hey, I got your back, buddy. Power, you know what I mean? For him to be like, my coach believes in me. Kind of a thing. Some players need that to play better. I think with Ham was a little bit more, you know, he was a little bit old school rough guy. And I don't know. D'Lo had a great year last year, but playoffs, we'll see. We'll talk about this later.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, bigger surprise for me, Lakers being 3-0. And like I said, I don't anticipate this hot streak to continue into the season. Like the Lakers are, in my eyes, I'm sorry, buddy, are going to fall apart as they typically do. Okay. And you know what? Tell you what, I wouldn't even be surprised if they won that silly, useless Emirates Cup that every advertisement is telling me is super great.
Well, yeah, of course they're going to overpump it. That's not for the Lakers. It's just the brand part of it is to be the first. That's almost more, you know, down the road and wait. That tournament is going to need time to really be like
that tournament starts in November, like next week.
Yeah, they do it early. Yeah, to try to, you know, get the excitement to the holidays, and then you just got the January to All-Star, and then after All-Star, everything pretty much revs back up.
Well,
you know, marketing.
I'd say. Yeah, they market the hell out of it. And of course, it's just more games means more advertising dollars. Like that's really what it's all about. They don't really give a shit if there's a cup at all. Yeah. They're playing.
The players do. They get paid though. They get some money though.
They get money. Yeah. But like, what's my incentive? More basketball? Like that's the incentive. The league is depending on me to say, all right, more basketball injected into my veins. Like it doesn't. I want good basketball. I want basketball that actually means something.
That was competitive though. For the low time of the year.
I could not stand looking at those courts. Those courts are
some
awful.
were awesome. Some were awesome.
No, they were not.
Some were awesome.
No,
some were
I don't.
Good.
I couldn't. Like they were all ugly.
There were some disgusting. That was a lot.
It was a revisit to the Milwaukee Bucks court from the 70s that they brought back a few years ago. It was just like it was the worst. I could like on the eyes. No, thank you. It was just the worst.
Oh,
so anyway, like don't get me started on basketball courts. My kid just got home. Yeah, real quick break in the podcast. So anyway,
brought food?
No, they didn't bring food, which is really unfortunate. I wish they did.
Yeah.
But anyway, so next up on this itinerary, Boston's dominance is scary.
Yeah.
It's really scary. Like they're super fucking good.
They're good. It's the Jordan rules.
That's all. That's all you got to say. Yeah, they're good.
I mean,
in true Laker fandom.
Hey, you know, it's all. What did Mike Tyson say? It's all cute to take one to the face, you know, and then, you know,
everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Yes, and last year they didn't get punched in the mouth. They didn't have I'm not saying they had like cakewalk for sure. They earned that shit and they won a championship, but let's not also act like it was one of the more daunting trips up that, mountain. But they're good. They stretch the floor, they shoot the ball well, you know. I think you gotta play a little junkyard dog when you're playing against them. You need a
Yeah,
little bit of that. And you gotta be big. I
and
think the big teams.
last year too, like I kept saying that Kristaps Porzingis was the X factor on that team, and they proved that while he's effective, they didn't necessarily need to have him be their X factor, and that's kind of carried over into this season where he hasn't even been able to come off the injury list, and they're still going out there and blowing out teams. They were up 30 on New York in the season opener. It was crazy.
Wait, did not everybody on the Knicks was playing, right? Anunoby, did he play? He didn't play game one.
Anunoby played. He didn't play well.
Okay.
Mikal Bridges sucked in the first half and came alive in the second half. That carried over into the second game though against the Pacers, and he just went off.
Yeah,
Mikal Bridges and his questionable shooting form were on point that day.
Yeah.
So that was good. But I just, I didn't anticipate, like, I know Boston's good, but I didn't anticipate them being able to run through New York like they did. Like, and that's not just me. That's not me being like a Knicks fan that's just saying like, hey, like the Knicks are going to go 82-0 this season. No, that's like objectively looking at this. I thought New York had a team that could give Boston a run for its money in all aspects of the game. And when they went in there and New York got busted up,
it was ring night too. So they were a little pumped.
They were pumped, but like they haven't let their foot off the gas since opening night.
Yeah.
And because like I'm not gonna sit here and say that Boston's gonna, be this dominant all season, but like all signs are pointing to them being the number one team. And there's what used to be a short distance between them and the rest of the Eastern Conference. Now it looks like they heard that noise and they're like, no, we're not going to. There's not going to be a whole lot of competition at the number 2 spot. Now, as a subjective Knicks fan, fuck that. Like
early.
It's still early. Like I don't want to sit here and give Boston all the praise, but Jesus, they really fucked up New York that game, it's kind of worrisome.
But when you shoot that well, too, I mean, they shot the ball really well.
Oh my God, they shot the lights out, and Boston,
and then they almost had a chance to break a record, and then they missed 13 in a row at the end.
That's because they had their third stringers in. Like they took everybody out at the end of the third quarter and said, okay, bench guys, go out there and have a good old time. And they couldn't hit crap. So the Knicks cut it from 30 to 20.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh boy. But the big bodega, Karl Anthony Towns, looking like he's gelling and embracing of the New York culture.
So far.
Yeah.
I'm saying so far so good. He still just sometimes rubs me off as just cornball.
I mean, he kind of is. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But I mean, it's only been a week. He's been in a couple weeks, but it is. I think they're gonna, once everybody's playing and relatively healthy, they need time to kind of figure out each other's game. Having Bridges come and Cat now, because before it was like they all knew everybody's game. Back and forth, back of their hand kind of stuff. Now you got a couple new pieces. Once they kind of figure that out of how they're going to utilize Cat and until he's, his most effective with Anunoby and everybody, and you still have obviously Brunson's the captain, so they're going to be all right. They just got to get some more time, more game time under them.
Yeah, I think, their chemistry is really coming together even after the loss to Boston. They came out against Indiana and really that was a staple win. especially against a team like Indiana, whose defense isn't great. But every time you have the Knicks versus the Pacers, you want to make a you want to you want to make a exclamation point of a win, and they did that in New York. And Cat was really vibing with the crowd, and Spike Lee was going off, and it just looked all great. And I noticed too, the kid, I don't know if you've seen the Penguin on HBO, but there's this kid, his Penguin sidekick, Victor. The actor was courtside for the Knicks Pacers game, and the kid was going off, just getting all wild. Apparently, he's a Knicks fan, so he's now taking a few steps up in terms of like favorite actors that I'm watching on Prestige TV right now. As great as that win was for the Knicks, I have some concerns. Surprise, surprise. I don't think they're moving the ball around really well on offense. I think they're still depending on Jalen Brunson to play a bunch of hero ball. And while he's great, my concern is that they're really wearing the tread on those tires, and eventually it'll blow. And you're right, they need to find the right way to use Karl Anthony Towns, whether that be in a 2-man pick and roll game or like spotting up in the corner or playing down on the block. Like, I honestly would like to see him down on the block. Like he was getting everything within 5 feet the other day. Well, at the same time, 2 of 2 from 3. So I was feeling it, but I just feel like there needs to be some sort of cohesive offense running that doesn't include Jalen having to take the ball and juke somebody and get to the basket and potentially kick it out for 3, or, get 2 tough points and be thrown to the ground 50 times again. That's my concern. The other thing too is that my indication that they're not moving the ball around very well is that the leader in assists on the team, and mind you, only 2 games in, but the leader in assists on the team is Cameron Payne. 3.5 dimes a game.
Wow.
Like, the most one person gets is 3.5 dimes. And that tells me that it's a bunch of dribble out the shot clock, playing a lot of one-on-one. And that with as many weapons as they have on the offensive side, you got to be able to mount some sort of offense that's going to make defenses get confused and throw them off so that they could get points, as opposed to playing the hero ball and making Brunson Captain America one more time.
Yeah. Oh man,
that's just me though.
Yeah. What's his name? He shoots like Payne, like he's looking one way. That's probably why he gets all the assists. His feet are going one way. You think he's shooting? Yeah, that's his jumper, but he's like using it as a
and you and I have talked about disgusting forms when it comes to jump shots. I now have 2 guys on the Knicks with really, really bad form, but somehow it's working.
Yeah.
And I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it.
But why did Bridges is shooting 38%? Why would you, career 38 from 3? Why would you change your form? It makes no sense. Then I saw today the guy on the Spurs, Shochi, whatever, he changes his hair all the time.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman.
That looked horrendous. I couldn't believe it. I can't even describe how terrible it was.
What are these players, what are these trainers doing, man?
Dude, I have no idea. I overheard Dwight Howard, and he was on Gilbert's podcast, and he's like, well, yeah, it's like everybody has their own philosophy of what's going to work. But it's like, I don't know. I see it as, if I'm training with a kid, if he has the fundamentals down, you don't want to just change everything to make it look perfectly pretty. I mean, if he has the basics, you might want to tell him, hey, get your little chicken wing in a little bit. But if he's still spreading has like a normal shot, you don't completely change it. And especially a basketball player to change your shot, you know how many shots you have to go through until it becomes muscle memory from all the other muscle memory of your whole existence, that's a huge thing to overcome. It takes a full summer. You need to be on Cancun on 3 and work the whole summer until training camp to change,
maybe some guys are able to change their mechanics quicker than others. I know that if back in my day, changing my form really kind of fucked everything up. So I wasn't one of those guys who could change stuff so easily, but maybe other guys, like especially these younger guys in the league, maybe they're able to adapt better. And kudos to them if they're able to do that. Like to go through change, any kind of change is tough, and if they're able to capitalize on it, then good for them. Good for them. And Bridges, I talked about his first half against Boston. It was terrible. But second half, he really came alive. And all of the game against Indiana, he was a focal point. And
dude, he's solid.
He's balling. And I love to see it. I still think opening night, it wasn't a fluke in terms of Boston beating the shit out of New York, but like New York could do better. I think they didn't play their best game. Even though they shot over 50% from the game, Boston just shot the lights out. Like they it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like tied the record for most threes in a game. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Of course it's against the Knicks. All right. What's the deal with Kawhi's ex-trainer, man?
Quote, air quotes, unsafe and illegal treatment is what he's saying was going on with Kawhi Leonard. Unsafe and illegal treatment. Ex-trainer filed a lawsuit, and he's got like it's a wild little backstory. He trained Kawhi at San Diego State. They've known each other, and it's like he was used to kind of pursue Kawhi to come to the Clippers. Lo and behold, a couple of years later, Kawhi becomes a Clipper. He's a trainer now with the Clipper, or at that time with the Clippers. And then they promised him a job. He got a job, and then they kind of regulated him to like an assistant role type thing, almost like you helped us get him here. Cool. We don't need you for training stuff, but you could be on the staff. You're like an assistant guy. And
that sounds like a pretty good gig. Thanks for getting him. You're an assistant coach now.
Yeah, but I guess he still had his trainer hat on, and he was like not in those meetings and was just witnessing what was going on. And I guess in his eyes that it was unsafe and illegal, and he's pursuing him. And my thing was like, so Kawhi has to. Is he doing this on behalf of Kawhi? So Kawhi has to be able to okay this for it to actually go to court or for him to file something. That's kind of my next question. But Gio was saying that, like, that means that Kawhi is obviously, if he's actually sending this in, that Kawhi's on board with it, or he must, he's like okaying the situation to go on. But it seems kind of crazy, like how. Hasn't Kawhi had this issue before? Didn't he have beef with the Spurs?
Yeah, like even Pop was like, you got to talk to Kawhi about it, because when they were asking Pop about injuries,
I remember
he's like, you got to talk to Kawhi and his people.
So like, who handles that? Is the organization, like, who has the hierarchy in that situation? A player's personal guy, or?
So what? Here, let me read you a little something. So Chris Haynes, noted NBA reporter, he said former Los Angeles Clippers trainer Randy Shelton is suing the franchise for wrongful termination, among other things, after he claims he was fired after complaining that Kawhi Leonard was being subjected to unsafe and illegal treatment for injuries. Now, the Clippers responded by issuing a statement saying Mr. Shelton's claims were investigated and found to be without merit. We honored Mr. Shelton's employment contract and paid him in full. The lawsuit is a belated attempt to shake down the Clippers based on accusations that Mr. Shelton should know are false. So they're denying the whole thing. So we're speculating everything here. Neither of us are have law degrees, but once Gio gets her stuff together, she could jump on the pod and explain stuff legally for us.
That would help.
Shout out Gio. But if he's filing a suit against the Clippers for wrongful termination, he's trying to get a settlement just to get paid. Like that's first and foremost. We know that. Now, whether Kawhi and his team will go to bat for him is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Like who's to say that Kawhi and his people are going to be witnesses in any type of trial after litigation, to give this guy merit for whatever he's claiming. It's a real tough, I think it's a real tough case to win. Like the burden of proof is all on him. Like he
needs to have proof.
He needs to have proof that the Clippers did this, and as a result fired him for knowing it and having evidence of knowing it, and he was terminated. And if his contract was paid in full, if the man got paid for what he was, contracted for, like, I'm not sure there's much more that he can get. Again, we're all speculating without our law degrees and so on and so forth. But that strikes me as something that, like, is going to be very tough to win in court.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe he's got enough documentary evidence cooked up. I doubt it, but
probably not. NBA spokesperson on the lawsuit. We are reviewing the court filings in this matter. So a very, like, cut and dry statement from the league. Go ahead. You were saying?
No. I just kind of had the question marks because of the whole. I knew Kawhi had this already before, and doesn't he have like family his uncle or somebody represents him, and I don't know.
Yeah, there's some family involved with his people. Like, I don't know exactly the extent of what his family is involved in, but Kawhi, there were a lot of injury questions with Kawhi in San Antonio, and then he goes to Toronto, to be fair, wins a chip, but then comes to LA, and are we going to have Kawhi healthy this season? Is Kawhi going to be on the court? Like,
again.
Is he hurt again? Like, and then, what are we in year 5, year 6 about this stuff? Like,
dude, went from the Terminator to terminated,
Goldman now.
Yeah, man, you have been erased.
Come with me if you want to live. There is no bathroom.
He's got a porta potty on his little seat because he can't move.
Yeah, so I just don't know if this guy Randy Shelton's gonna get anything out of it. If he does, it'll be interesting to see how this develops, but I have my doubts that it's going to be anything but a bunch of he said, she said.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned something about Charlotte and LaMelo Ball being an outlet for entertainment. Your words.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Well, you've seen the last couple years, that I think to me, he reminds me of a little Pistol Pete in there. Some of his little movements and his flash, like his creativity with the ball, passing. And obviously he was hurt last year, and you can see, like, I watch him and you see his trajectory, and it's like he's got that youthful ignorance where he's just playing and having fun. And for those reasons, and also they got Brandon Miller. He just banged on somebody a couple days ago. They got Trey Man, Spider-Man shooting all over the place, looking like Allen Iverson. So for that squad, like, for the entertainment value, don't look for necessarily, I'm not saying like sound offense and stuff like that. But if you want to watch some entertainment basketball, like, that's an entertainment watch. That's a league pass.
So this is I was about to say, this is your league pass team, huh?
Yeah, it's like a league pass alert. Put a little star next to the Charlotte if you could catch a game or two. I want to see Melo take the next step, though, of like, okay, you've been in the years, you've been in the league of what this is on 4th year now,
something like
or 4th, and you want him to take the next step. I want him to take the next step as far as like a little bit more. I like all the flair and stuff, but just imagine if there was a little more a little maturity to it. Maybe his team is not set up for that, but I'm just looking for the next step. All the young guys that we give, hey, who's going to help take the mantle and who's going to do this? You have all those guys, and he's not. I felt like he kind of floated at that level, and now he's, the last year and a half, you're not playing, and these young guys have stepping up and kind of took over. So I feel like he's a little motivated too to kind of show like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still young as shit and got game, but he's definitely it's entertaining as hell. His little
he's got game.
The gallop pull up kind of reminds me of like Jay Will, little stuff like that. I love in the game. I love seeing that kind of like carefree shit. And you don't really see it as much in the NBA, obviously, because you got to keep it tailored back a little. So when guys do show some creativity and flash, like Jay Will was obviously one of those guys too. You're like, you just watched him to see what cool shit he was gonna do that you can go out on the court and try to emulate, So
yeah, I mean, the other thing too about Ball, excuse me, is that he's only 23 years old. He's still really young.
Yeah.
So if Charlotte is able to put a team together that could complement him, that he'd be the centerpiece of, like obviously that's the goal. Whether or not Charlotte does it, however, is the question.
Yeah.
It's a small market. Not a lot of players are like breaking down doors to try to get to Charlotte. I think that team's reestablishment in the league was more so of a nostalgia thing and trying to sell on the old school 90s Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson teams.
Stick logos and jerseys and shorts.
Yeah, and it's just like that can only go so far. That team, if they're going to be competitive, they need to get some pieces around. Like Brandon Miller's great.
I like it's a young piece.
Yeah, if they're able to build a strong young core around Ball with players like that, maybe get a couple of bigs, then maybe they could do something. But as of right now, I'm just not expecting a whole lot of excitement to come out of Charlotte besides LaMelo Ball. And like I want to see him stay on the court. Like he's had injury issues and he's been kept off the court for a good amount of time. But when he does play, like you're right, he could be appointment viewing on NBA League Pass. By the way, Justin, did you finally get League Pass like I asked you to?
No. I haven't got it. But we need LaMelo also to work on his after game interviews. Oh my goodness.
No, we need to work on you getting League Pass. That's
I know. Well, then I might have a karate chop mark from my wife. Like, what are you doing?
Tell her it's for work. It's
gonna be a write-off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna tell my
just
tax
write
man,
it off.
I do a podcast, biatch. Write this shit off, man.
I've invested in this whole venture that we're doing.
Exactly.
My good friend Erik edits it all, and he's so great, and he does all the things. Give me a write-off, Mr. Tax Guy.
Do it.
By the way, you sounded so like depressed when you said no, I haven't got it yet.
Yeah,
it's like
a little downer. Because that's nice. Remember that. Hey, geez, what are you doing? Like 12. I remember 12 different channel options, and
yeah,
that was a lot to deal with. I remember I did have it when I was younger, and it was awesome. Watching commercials in Milwaukee of a local, we talked about this before last season, and it's awesome times, man.
Yeah,
go
when
and
they
check
have
season 1.
Yeah, season 1 of the Staches and Glasses pod, but now we're in season 2 because we're growing and we're expanding and we're going now.
Yeah, we are. We're predicting.
Now I'm infatuated with it.
See, it's catchy, huh?
It really
catchy.
Is.
It's catchy.
I'm gonna need a Call Me Now shirt.
I'm gonna have to create something.
Please do.
For sure.
That would be outstanding. That would be absolutely outstanding. But you know what's not outstanding?
What's up?
Dwyane Wade's statue.
Oh,
you saw this thing.
It looks. What's Ronaldo? Remember Ronaldo's? How bad it was?
Yeah, it was terrible.
It could be worse.
Yeah, it could.
Like, who was the person who, like, don't they do a rendering first of like, hey, check this out. This was the idea we had. What do you guys think? So you
Yeah,
could at least get a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of
there's
shit.
there's a vetting system, right? Like
No, I
it has
don't.
something like through this, like you have to go through levels of, yeah, that looks good. Let's kick it up the ladder. Like,
That's
right?
one thing the Lakers do right though is whoever the hell's designing them damn all those statues out there. At least they look legit. I saw Dwyane Wade and somebody put was it you who showed the picture of Laurence Fishburne? And I was like, wait, Doc Rivers is up there? This guy got Doc Rivers? Oh man, poor Dwyane, dude. He looked at I saw the video. I could just imagine what was going through his brain. It was like, this is the most coolest thing is to have a statue, but good Lord. Who
Dude,
designed this thing? It was like
I
a
don't
blind
know.
bear. I don't know who did it. I feel bad. Are they going to change it?
I mean, they're
Yeah.
gonna, based off of this fallout,
have
they're
to,
gonna
no?
have to do it, right?
I mean,
That's so
dude,
it's awful.
we should start a petition.
I think I'm gonna throw it up on YouTube once we publish this thing. Just
There needs to be some sort of like a poll. How many of you would vote to change this shit right now?
Do me a favor,
97%.
man.
What?
Photoshop that face onto as many different things as possible.
Oh
It's
man,
awful.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put a bunch of those on the Golden Girls.
It literally looks like
So bad.
Laurence Fishburne reacting to stubbing his toe on the corner of the bed.
Dude, I can't believe. It happens a lot when you see certain, like you see commercials or you see things, and you're like, how did that leave the editing room? Like, how did that not leave? You know,
Who greenlit this bitch? Who
Yeah.
I need names.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
has to be named in
Yeah.
this debacle.
Somebody deserves to be fired or put on a week. I don't know. He looks bad.
A
dude.
week suspension. You're suspended from statue making for a week without pay, sir.
They would do that in the 13 or 1400s. That dude would have to find a different gig. Like, you're gonna have to cut tombstones now. You can't sculpt. You're not a sculptor. You just got to do big shapes. That's it. You're not doing sculptures, dude. That guy looks like Doc Rivers.
If the guy
Doc Rivers in Miami going like this, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's so bad. So bad.
It looks like somebody sitting at Benihana's waiting for the chef to throw the shrimp in their mouth.
Yeah. Dude, that's another one to put that picture. That's so funny.
But it also looks like the shrimp is in the mouth and it's too hot. You know, when shit's too hot, you're like,
yeah. Dwyane Wade at Benihana's. And then they took that
Laurence Fishburne as Doc Rivers try to be Dwyane Wade at Benihana's.
Wow. That's when the sculptor was like, that's it, that's perfect. That's what I was looking for the whole time.
Oh,
perfect,
yes,
guys.
It looks exactly like him. And he showed it to them and they're like, this doesn't look like him at all. And it ends up pulling up a picture. This is what I tried to make. It happens to be Laurence Fishburne instead of Dwyane Wade.
Somebody sent him the wrong mock-up. I can't believe that. Or the wrong reference picture. So
my
bad.
God.
So bad.
It was funny. During the presentation, Wade was speaking on the podium. He's like, who is this guy?
You're like, that's you, Dwyane. That's you. He was like, nah, motherfucker, bring the other one out. What is this? Was this the one just in case, like the dummy version? What is this?
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I've got names.
Oh,
the statue, designed by Timeless Creations, Omri Amrani, and Oscar Leon, sits outside the front doors of the Kaseya Center. Wade was clearly stunned by the statue remaking. Say again?
Have you seen any of these other people's works? Do they show examples or are they all butchered?
Oh man, I'm on a Google search right now.
They're gonna be like, "Hey, we got a sculpture of a brown bear, and it's like a mountain lion." Like, dude, what school of sculpting did they go to? That's
Oh no,
intense.
they went to the school of Play-Doh and putty.
Dude, man, they weren't even using scalpels. They was just using like butter knives the whole time. Poor
Butter
Dwayne.
knives and forks.
I felt so bad for him. Like, you're watching him and you're like, I'm thinking to myself, how does he's a good actor. How is he kind of keeping a straight face? Like, you got to think deep down, this is not me.
Dude, it's bad.
It is bad.
I don't know how long we could go on talking about this just by repeating how bad it is, but Jesus H. Criminy, it's bad.
Go check it out, people. Google it.
Well, like I said, I'll throw it up on the YouTube. YouTube. Like an
check
old
it
man.
out there. Check it out there. You guys are not ready.
It was awful.
I'm looking at the picture now. So bad.
So I was going to ask you if you had any computer club contributions to this week, but I think the statue kind of takes the cake, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm looking at it now, and it just does not look. It makes the rest of the body. I see it says Miami, and it says 3, and that's his jersey, and he's done that pose, but like the face is so bad that I don't even see. I just see some other dude wearing a Dwyane Wade jersey, like mimicking him. If this was a TikTok video, like they made the statue of a TikTok guy who imitated.
Oh my goodness. Get this. These guys, Amrani and Leon, they also did the Michael Jordan statue in Chicago and your Kobe Bryant Black Mamba statue.
Wait, which one's the Black Mamba? The one in front of Staples where he's standing up?
I think so.
But those looked decent. They look good.
Yeah. Yeah. They just seriously, did they get the picture of the wrong guy?
Oh my gosh. The internet's undefeated too, because they've just been showing random people who it looks like that's not Dwyane Wade. Just everybody's like, redo it right now.
Exactly. Like they have to. They absolutely have to.
Oh, somebody did the one where, remember the famous lob that he threw to LeBron?
Uh-huh.
Where he's like, his hands are open.
Yeah.
And they threw, oh my gosh, they threw the top half of the statue.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's here.
Oh boy.
There we go.
Poor Dwyane Wade.
Oh, dude. Well, get that petition and that up. That's one of the ones of a poll that's gonna be like 99.9% one way. It's gonna be one schmuck who says, no, it looks perfect. Of course, get out of here.
No, I love Laurence Fishburne.
I love Laurence.
I loved him in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah,
that was Furious Styles. Yeah, I love the Furious Styles statue out in front of the Miami Heat. I can't.
Wait, Rachel Nichols says Wade was very involved with what the statue would look like and visited the sculptor several times. The Kobe statue was also being made at the same place. So Dwyane said it really hit him as he looked at both. Yeah, I hit him like, what the fuck is this? That it was more than metal in front of him. It was immortality. That's what Dwyane Wade was thinking when he saw that, or Dwyane was thinking, wow, you made Kobe look like a doppelganger and you made me look like some other guy.
I like,
bless your heart, guys.
I'm thinking Dwyane Wade like walked into the studio, saw it and how awful it was, and just was just wanting to be nice. It was like, hey guys, that looks great. That's really capturing my cheekbones there.
Dude, he looks, that part looks chiseled, but like that's not Dwyane Wade. Oh, Dwyane. Oh man.
Anyway,
well, you got a statue, bud.
Congratulations on the statue, D Wade. That's it is burned into my memory as something that looks nothing like you. Well done.
Nothing.
All right, man. That's all I got. Anything you want to add?
My Dodgers hopefully by next podcast win the World Series.
Oh, they're up 2-0.
Yeah, and the Freddie Freeman Grand Slam, first ever walk-off Grand Slam in World Series history, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty iconic.
And I'm watching the game with Gio, and I'm like, bases are juiced. He comes up. I was like, we just need a single because we were down by 1. It was in the 10th inning. So 2 outs. I'm like, we need a single. No, he's going to hit a grand slam. I was like, man, will you relax with the fantasy land? We need a single. We just need to tie the game and, get to the next inning. Sure enough, dude throws the same pitch he threw Shohei, and Freddie Freeman fucking FedExed it to
Freddie Freeman fucking FedExed.
He FedExed it to Riverside, and dude,
to Fremont.
The crack of the bat, and then seeing that whole thing, especially Freddie, like this guy, what he's gone through the year. He had his own injury. His son got sick. That took a couple months, and he's still went through a whole lot of shit. The guy at the last series of the season sprained his ankle. One of those bad, ones we would have to sit out for 4 to 6 weeks kind of shit. This dude plays a week later, played a couple games, stole a fucking base, and then he ended up missing a couple games. But then to hit that home run like that was a grand slam like that was just fucking insane. And I had a couple buddies who went to the game, and you're like, wow, you guys at first you're like, dude, you paid out of pocket at least a G, but then you're like, fuck, you're never gonna forget that moment. I mean, I'm not gonna forget it. And I was at home, so. It was pretty crazy. And speaking of call me now, is Gio, because she called it. She was like, and he hit the grand slam. She's like, I told you. I was like, but then she did it again. Watching the 49er game today, she's been, I don't know. I might have to.
She's been predicting things
random. Yeah, she did another home run where I was like, yeah, let's just get on board. Guy hits a home run.
So it shifted from Miss Cleo to Miss Gio.
Well, just know that it's like double feature. Like we both got special powers, I guess. I don't know. I'm not disclosing how we learn.
It sounds like she's the one that has the magic here, and you're just
hers is much.
You're just the sexy side piece. That's what.
That's cool. What you are. I'll take it. I will take it.
Take it any way we can get it at this age, man.
Yeah, but I think that we're on a. It's almost like it feels kind of destined a little bit. The way that they're playing, everybody's been hurt, and it's like that whole. They've just been killing still. So I don't know, man. I think it would be awesome though to finally and to beat the Yankees, because they got a powerful lineup too, man. You sit there and Aaron Judge, Soto, Carlos Stanton, whatever, Giancarlo Stanton. They're all like, you're like, Jesus, dude. These dudes are tight.
Murderers row.
Yeah, and then they just been poor Judge, dude. He's trying to hit every ball also to, the Hudson River, and this guy's he's good for us. He ain't been able to hit shit, but I don't think that's gonna last the whole. Obviously they're not gonna. I wouldn't predict that the Dodgers would just sweep them, and they're never gonna. The Yankees they're here for a reason. They're gonna catch. They're gonna hit the ball. They're gonna make an impact. So it's also weathering that storm. They're not just gonna completely lay down. I heard some crazy stories about their first baseman Rizzo, ex Chicago Cub guy, who apparently got up and got naked and had some weird let's rally together and fight for the boys, and it worked a couple times. He's been known for this apparently. Thought it was weird. Guy, you could keep your shorts on, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man.
You don't have to walk around. I'll get the detail. Well, maybe I won't even touch the story. Forget it. But they're also the point is that he's one of those locker rally up guys who will probably do some Buffalo Bills fandom type shit to pump them up, and it might work. So far we're up 2-0, but we got to go play. We got to go play 3 in the Bronx. So long as we win 1 and come back home, good.
All right, Ben. Now that we've made a Buffalo Bill mention, I think that's it. Staches and Glasses
for a week. Sorry.
Staches and Glasses. We'll be back next week for more NBA musings. Watts, is there anybody you want to shout out before we go?
More predictions next week. Just actually, yeah, I want to shout out my old school. I am switching jobs and left my kids on Friday, and that was an
Oh,
experience. Yeah. So I shout out to them. It's hard to tell, like, explain to kids like, hey, why you gotta leave? My heart's like, don't want to leave, don't want to stay. I want to be here with you guys. But like my adult part of my life, I gotta take this next challenge kind of thing.
mhm.
Um, but I got the close connections I still keep in contact. It's not like I'm just disappearing and going to another state. But yeah, the end of an era. But
Very good.
I'm still gonna see him. I told him I'm gonna visit, I'm gonna
Good
hit
on
him.
you.
Yeah, I gotta go back there, steal some Lunchables and slap fives and stuff, let them know. And I'm right down the street, so it's like it's just some of the kids, you have a connection with them, and it's almost just as hard for you because you understand what's going on, but all for good things. So I'll shout them out. Not
Right
myself
on,
this
right on,
week. Yeah.
right on.
I'll save myself for next week when we got more Cleo predictions. Wow. Wow.
All
Next
right,
week.
man. Next week. We'll see everybody then. Until then, thanks for mounting up with the podcast. Call me now.
Yes. Do it. 1-800 Staches. Biatch.